Oil giant Egypt, Nigeria, with its partners Owando, ENI and the NNPC, have organized the 23rd edition of the Farmers' Day celebration at the Green River Project Plant Propagation Center at OBA Onelga in River State. The 2010 edition of the Farmers' Day celebration, with the theme Farm and Fortune, focused on showing the farmers the possibility of creating sustainable wealth from agriculture and encouraging more Nigerians to invest in it.
Thank you.
Improving the living standards of rural dwellers in the host communities of Egypt, Nigeria and other international oil companies through agriculture development is the reason why Farmers' Day is being celebrated. It's the 23rd consecutive edition of the event, and these farmers are here to exhibit their produce and gain more insights into transforming their farming into fortune.
The GRP is a modular rural development program designed for the development of an integrated fruit production system that is sustainable and fully respectful of local customs and traditions to improve the living standards of the agrarian population in the Niger Delta.
I wish to reaffirm here now in this regard that we shall continue to support you in achieving sustainable farming practices in order to progress on the route of efficiency of the process.
The other partners of this venture also applaud the farmers for their tenacity while assuring them of the Green River Project's preparedness to continuously help them.
I'm really proud to see that we have been forerunner. Our vision to help the communities improve their agricultural skills, to enhance their access to the market, contributed to the diversification of the local economy and provided livelihood to an increased number of people.
In a televised address to the occasion, President Muhammadu Buhari highlights the importance of farming and agriculture for the nation's fortunes.
A day like this provides good networking opportunities for farmers and stakeholders in the agricultural sector. I urge you to make the best use of it. Our intention is to make agriculture the backbone of our economy.
As a call to greater productivity, awards and gifts are presented to some outstanding farmers.
Today I have over 12 ponds. My farm is so developed in such a way that I'm even trying to meet up with the Office of the Amnesty in Abuja to join me in partnership so that I can train other youths.
The icing on the cake for the farmers is multiple award-winning Nigerian artist Innocent Idibia, who serenades the gathering, along with cultural displays by other performers, capping off an event designed to promote increased food production in oil-producing communities.
To other stories, the Presidential Special Investigation Panel on Sexual and Gender-Based Violence in Nigeria has so far received 96 complaints and memoranda across the 6 geopolitical zones on cases of sexual gender-based violence. Now, the National Human Rights Commission revealed this during its public sitting aimed at checking the scourge of sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria. Our correspondent Darido reports.
Rise up for recognition. Thank you.
The 96 complaints are from the 6 geopolitical zones, with Southeast accounting for the highest number of cases reported. But the Commission says the cases are not based on prevalence on each of the regions.
We'll look at the roll call now.
More worrisome for the members of the panel is the culture of silence. The victims are either not reporting abuses or failing to show up when needed.
The number does not show the prevalence, really. Maybe it's a matter of awareness. What we are doing now, we're moving around the whole geopolitical zones, and part of the strategy is also encourage people to speak out. And one other way to also do this is if they see that people who come out are getting remedy and they are protected and not stigmatized, that's a practical way we think we can also make them to come out.
Widow abuse is considered the less likely issue to be raised here, but a widow, Omolola Omotesho, is bringing it up. She says she's willing to share her story, even as many are dying of silence.
Many widows are not even empowered. They don't have a job. So they can't even litigate. So when a fraud happens to you, the first thing is go to court, go and litigate. Where is the funds to do that? So I'm hoping that this panel, I'm so happy that they took on the petition we sent in, because we were expecting that they would say, oh no, we're only dealing with sexual violence, because that's what we have always heard.
Away from the commission sitting, Omalolo Motesho is also bringing widows together with those who can help them lead a good life. They share their stories and also find solutions to them.
What widows pass through is just too much. When it comes to getting letter of administration, continue going there. Before I could get mine, I spent over 2 years. 2 years with money.
We need more widows. I'm happy that you were able to speak to some of them. That's the problem journalists have been having. When they want to speak, they say under conditions of anonymity. Even at the National Human Rights Commission, they said the panel will sit in private. Why should they be in private? They've stolen our things in public.
The 2015 Widows Report by the Lumber Foundation says there are 258 million widows around the world, of which 3.5 million of them are Nigerians. The National Human Rights Commission says it will treat the cases before its investigation panel while encouraging more people to report cases of abuse against them. Dari Ido, Channels Television News.
Elsewhere, traders have been advised to take insurance seriously. The advice is coming from the Anambra State Governor, Willie Obiano. He was speaking while handing over cash compensation to victims of a Chanja Market fire incident, where a total of 100 million naira was given to the victims. A funeral mass is held at St. Joseph's Catholic Church, or KTT, for victims of the Ochanja Market fire accident. Governor Willie Obiano joins the Catholic Diocese of Onitsha to pay last respects to a mother and child who lost their lives in the tragic incident on October the 16th. Families of the deceased and others mourn the loss as the Auxiliary Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Onitsha delivers his sermon with a song to console the bereaved. The Archbishop of the Catholic Diocese of Onitsha, Most Reverend Valerian Okeke, prays for the grieving family. From the church, the governor enters the second phase of the program, where he meets with about 763 business owners whose outlets were razed by the fire. To cushion the effects of their losses, the governor hands checks to each of them. This gesture is done alongside goodwill messages from prominent indigents of the state.
Ochanja lift him up. Our God is good. I will lift him up. Everywhere I go, I will lift him up higher. 6 people died during this incident, this fire incident on the 16th of October at Opiweka area. And 10 people were injured. The government is taking care of all of them. The 6 people that died, we provided the casket and we gave the next of kin 1 million. And for the other people of various injuries, we are treating them and we are giving them 500,000, 10 of them. Then the rest we are giving 100,000.
Beyond the compensation, the governor reminds traders that it is important to embrace insurance, as it is the surest way to recover when accidents of such nature occurs. Over in Nasarawa State, young persons have taken to commercial motorcycling to fend for themselves and augment family finances. But residents of Nasarawa are blaming the young age of the riders as the reason for significant road mishaps in the state. With plans by the government to invest hugely in youth empowerment, most of them are willing to leave the road. Our correspondent Halima Guillaume has this report.
The National Bureau of Statistics puts the unemployment rate of Nasarawa State at 27.4%. an underemployment rate at 24.3%. Despite the employment rate of 48.3%, a number of young persons have been forced into embracing vocations considered not suitable for their ages. The most noticeable is commercial motorcycling. It is the most preferred by residents as it goes into the nooks and crannies in the state, with rates as low as 30 naira. With only very few taxis available, residents who are not car owners are left with two options: the motorcycle or the tricycle, with their destination determining their choice. But there are worries over the increasing number of underage motorcycle riders in the state, with motorcyclists advancing a resistance over the menace and want it checked.
Ya kamata mutum ya zo kafin su bishi rijista, ya kamata su sami wannan ya isa goyin, wannan bai isa ba, ya kamata su duba su gani kafin umma ai bare ga duk wani abu bare ga gare su ba.
Some underage riders attribute their choice of livelihood to the absence of alternative options.
Wannan sana'a muna da damuwa saboda ita take samu muke dan taimakawa rayuwarmu da iyayenmu.
Sana'a na da shin taso ina yi mana fara yin sa da ina yi sai akan ba abun da zan yi ba koyi.
Nevertheless, the government says it has plans for young persons in the state.
Very soon our incubation center will be ready and we shall use that for training our youth, teaching them various trades such as painting, blacksmithing, and the rest of it. So we are making an effort to ensure that we get them out of the street.
The use of motorcycles for commercial transportation in Nasarawa State is born out of the necessity to fill the gap of inadequate transportation. Yet, the attitude of these riders is a source of worry to residents. However, the implementation of the state government's youth empowerment programs may turn the attention of young motorcyclists to other opportunities and in turn minimize road accidents in the state. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
And the world marks 30 years of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, where a group of South African children have attended a special session at the nation's parliament to mark the occasion. The theme with the hashtag UNCRC at 30 is 30 years of implementation of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, challenges and opportunities. The children had a list of not just what they want to see done to improve their lives, but also solutions to problems affecting them. Our Johannesburg Bureau Chief, Betty Debia, reports.
The children representing their peers from South Africa's 9 provinces, as well as ambassadors representing children with disabilities, were hosted by the Deputy Chairperson of South Africa's National Council of Provinces, Honorable Sylvia Lucas.
If you look into all the charters and all the ratifications that was ever done by South Africa, the first one was to ratify the Children's Rights Charter, which need to show you how important the South Africa, the democratic South Africa view her children.
You are our nation's.
President Cyril Ramaphosa was absent but sent a video message. The children outlined their commendations, challenges and recommendations of what more they'd like to see done.
We as the deaf people in our communities, when we finish school, we go to the interviews, even in the schools. We don't get any interpreter, no one hearing us. We end up staying at home doing nothing after schooling because we can't move to the tertiary institutions.
There is still work to be done. And here we are, representing and presenting not only problems, but giving you solutions and recommendations. Please, I'm appealing to you. Take this wherever it needs to be heard.
It's 30 years since the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and today's world is a very different one from then. It's also a much more interlinked one, where many young see opportunities where the elders see threats.
You will see it like that, but many people like ourselves
and many governments are very scared and threatened by it. So I think you have a special role to play to help us to see those as things like that as opportunities rather than things to be scared about.
Don't give your parents pain and suffering. They don't deserve it. They work very hard, and all they want to see, themselves through you 10 times better than them.
As nations marked World Children's Day, the wishes came with hope for fulfillment and renewed commitment to the well-being of the child on all fronts.
My wish is that we'll develop, and we develop together, an equal society where every child has equal opportunities, no matter their background, race, religion.
My will to children all over the world is to study all you can while you still have a chance. Never let hard times or sadness let you down. All of us deserve a chance, and all of us deserve to make our dreams come true.
It's about governments taking responsibility and creating a conducive environment for people to grow, but it's also a message to the young people themselves that rights come with responsibility.
The Convention on the Rights of the Child was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on the 20th of November 1989 and came into force on the 2nd of September 1990. From Cape Town, South Africa, Betsy Dibia, Channels Television News.